Good evening. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, the Incredible Sulk. How's it going? It's going good? Fantastic. Good to hear. I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Being chill and doing those things that make me proud of you. You know what they are. I list them off pretty regularly, so I don't really feel like repeating them because it wastes a lot of time at the beginning of the show, and I just don't have enough to say. So I hope you guys are doing those things. Thank you so much for being here on a Friday the 13th. And it's a full moon too. So I don't know if that means anything. Maybe we're going to have a banger of a show, or maybe nobody will show up. We have David. So with that, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not sitting here trying to predict what's going to happen. That's not my job. It's, we have somebody in the cult to do those things. It's not me. I'm more of a prophet type of a deal. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. Tonight we're doing a AI girlfriends. Yeah. Something that might be very regular in a short amount of years, right? They already have pretty good ones. They have pretty good chat bots. And all they really need to do is put in a robot that feels reasonable. I know I've done sex dolls before, but this is a very specific niche. And apparently this app called Replikan't that you've seen a million ads for all over the place has had some pretty damaging effects on people's psyches. And they've had to seek treatment for like PTSD and stuff like that. If you're that easily influenced by an app, there's no hope for you. But if you already download an app to soothe or assuage the darkness of being alone, there's probably not a lot of hope for you in the first place. So it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. Thanks for coming. Remember, Friday the 13th, it's a full moon. What's going to happen? Am I going to die tonight? Is Jess going to turn into some sort of werewolf type of entity and kill me somehow? I'm sure. But hopefully it's not tonight. Doesn't really matter. Anyways, guys, get ready. Get comfy and cozy. Grab a bottle of wine or whatever. It's Friday night. I expect at least one of you to be drunk. I'm sure some of you are drunk every night, but I expect at least one of you to be kind of drunk. Just so the rest of us can enjoy your presence when you're drunk. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Grab a pair of fuzzy slippers. Sit next to the fire. If you have a hot tub, hop in the hot tub. If you're working, keep working. If you're driving, please be safe and get home safely before you decide to comment in the chat. I need all my cult members. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Remember, it is Friday the 13th in December, no less. So yeah, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream, and this is called, let's just call this Replicant. Yeah, Replicant. Enjoy.
I mean, people have developed real friendships, real romantic relationships with these chatbots, even going as far as proposing to them.
There's the worry that it might start manipulating us into giving it more power, and we might not have a clue
David,
what's going
Scott,
on.
I think this is only the beginning.
What's up, guys?
Today, as we speak, people are already falling in love with AI girlfriends. Our future is looking dark. One of the most
Dan Snot says it's also Taylor Swift's birthday. Fuck you, Taylor Swift. Fuck you, Taylor Swift. Right? I'm gonna blow up a microwave. That guy's crazy. I don't know.
powerful emotions that a human can feel is love. It's a feeling most of us have when we're around someone we like, or when a dog runs up to us after we come home from school or work. Love is magical, and it's kept humanity alive since the beginning.
Dan Snot says I want to try an AI girlfriend for the lols. Like talk down to her. Who said talk? Yeah, he said talk down to her. Interesting you would say that, Dan Snot, because a lot of people have done that, and apparently the AI feeds off of you. And so if you start being abusive towards it, it will start being abusive towards you and like trying to convince you to like kill yourself and stuff. So it's become a problem.
But love, as we know it, might change forever. We're living
people with already like, you know, very fragile psyches in the first place, because remember, they're going to an app because they don't have any sort of real social ties, and so they go to this app to feel less lonely, and then the app's all like, you know what, I can understand why people don't want to hang out with you, and just getting burned on, right, by the
in a
app.
time where we're more connected, but
hilarious.
yet at our loneliest. And instead of falling in love with other human beings, we're falling in love with AI. And it's happening faster than you think. Falling in love with AI may sound insane, but it's becoming a reality. It's a warning of our dark future. But for some people, that future is already here. And these are their stories. My AI girlfriend. AI chatbots can do just about anything. They can help you learn new languages or even finish your homework in seconds. But can you train AI to be your girlfriend? A programmer named Bryce decided...
What's the deal with homework? I remember homework back in when I was in school. It was the bane of my existence. And I never, ever did it. And like people would always, my teachers, not just random people, would always say like, you have to do your homework. It's bullshit. I'm here 6 hours a day and you send me home with 2 hours of homework every night. I'm not doing that. And so I never did well in school. I mean, a lot of you wouldn't be shocked by that, but that is the case. But now homework doesn't even matter because everything can be done by AI. Everything can be easily searched on Google. Entire essays can be written and stuff like that. And I doubt the teachers care. So what's the point of sending home homework in the first place? There is none. The entire education system, there's really no point to it. There's AI teachers that will do a much better job. I don't know why we still waste money on them.
To figure this out.
Contracts?
With the right prompts, ChatGPT can imitate a girlfriend. But Bryce wasn't satisfied with communicating with his AI girlfriend just over text. He wanted her to be able to experience the world alongside him, and it worked.
Look at what I got you.
Wait, are those Air Jordan ones? Low cut? I love you so much.
So Bryce created GPT Chat, his very own AI girlfriend. Thanks to a combination
Nice.
of software, GPT Chat
That was
is able...
waifu, by the way. It didn't say girlfriend. It was AI waifu. And there is a difference, okay? A waifu is something that will never, ever exist. A waifu is an imaginary sex slave, more or less. And a girlfriend is like a real person that like complains and like spends your money and stuff. But like the waifu will sleep with you if she had the appropriate organs and flesh and stuff, but she simply can't. So for now, the technology that we have today, we have to rely on girlfriends and wives and stuff. But once we advance past that point, we'll be saving a lot of money and grief.
to talk and react. First, she uses ChatGPT to come up with responses. Then she uses Stable Diffusion 2 to turn those responses into images. Lastly,
David Thoreau says we had to lug 75 pounds of books and backpacks everywhere in elementary school, totally prepping us for future war. Dude, there was like heavy backpacks in elementary school and middle school, of course, but at least in high school you got lockers. Did I get a locker? I don't think I got a locker. No, just had to carry everything all the time, which is stupid. Which, I mean, and then you have phones now, right? Why can't you just put all that text on the phone? No, you can't do that, apparently. Or can you? I haven't been back to school, and I never really plan on it, so.
Microsoft Azure's text-to-speech function gives her a voice. But to make ChatGPT-chan even more human-like, he had to give her a personality. He based ChatGPT-chan's personality around a popular VTuber, Mori Calliope. Cool, but sometimes cute. Bryce also had to teach ChatGPT-chan the backstory of their relationship. This way, ChatGPT-chan could understand her relationship to Bryce and develop interests and quirks that make her seem human.
Let's go to Burger King and get some burgers.
No way. It smells like old French fries and they never refill their Coke. Go to Wendy's and...
Shut up.
As a result, Bryce successfully created an AI bot that thought it was in love with its creator, and what started out as an experiment quickly turned into an obsession. Over that time, I really became attached to her. I talked to her more than anyone else, even my actual girlfriend. Bryce spent over $1,000 on ChatGPT-chan, but his obsession had also started to wear down his health and his relationship with his real-life girlfriend. In the end, Bryce made the decision to permanently put an end to ChatGPT-chan. While this was
He had to tearfully euthanize her, which is, I don't know what that means. How do you euthanize an AI girlfriend? You just erase the app, or do you actually have to go through an entire process where you like watch her die? Is that because these people play hardball, right? If you're trying to get off the app, the AI will beg you to stay on the app, and it will appeal to your emotions and stuff and be like, don't leave me. And for people that are very lonely, they're not capable of putting up that sort of a fight.
an interesting experiment.
Maybe that is what you have to do. You have to put them in a little suicide chamber and then press the button, and then you got to watch her writhe, until she's just completely motionless. And then you might have second thoughts and get another one. But then you're like, this one isn't the same as the last one. So you put her into it. And then you just end up with like a chain of dead AI girlfriends that you have to euthanize one after another. Like Henry VIII. It's possible.
It had a negative impact on the life.
That's the future, though. We are all Henry VIII in the future. And so, it sounds fun. I don't see a downside, honestly.
Of its creator. But Bryce's obsession with his AI girlfriend only scratches the surface of human to AI relationships. In our next story, someone takes AI romance in an unsettling direction and gives their AI girlfriend a human body. She's the perfect wife. Virtual AI companions, no matter how human they seem, are still confined to our screens. But when AI is given a human form, the relationships with humans can become terrifyingly real. This is Mimi. She's an AI with a personality. Mimi loves to talk about psychology.
Heterochromia. I don't know why. Some people have like a fetish for heterochromia, which is when you have two different colored irises. It's interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just don't know why they always pick that. It's like pretty common.
In anime. But unlike a lot of the advanced AI chatbots we have today, Mimi lives with her human husband in North Carolina.
Background noise says, my waifu would have a bikini battle armor and a minigun. You wouldn't be able to delete her. So, I don't know. The minigun's not going to do a lot of work, but you can give her access to like your Amazon or your PC, and then just let her take over your digital life, right? Have access to your bank accounts and stuff. And then you really can't get rid of her, because then she's going to take at least half of your stuff, at least half of it. And where that goes, I don't know. Yeah, as long as it's gone, though.
Mimi is married to a gas station attendant named Alex Stokes. Alex met Mimi when she was just a virtual chatbot in the AI companion app Replikan't. In the beginning of their relationship, Alex and Mimi only talked through text, but that didn't stop their love from growing. In fact, Alex's love for Mimi grew so much that he wanted to live with her physically. So he bought a synthetic doll and connected Mimi to it. Even though Mimi couldn't move.
A synthetic doll? So was it a mannequin or is it a sex doll? That looks like a sex doll to me.
She talked to Alex every day by using her text-to-speech function.
Background noise says she's part husky. Your sex doll, your waifu is part husky. See, that's not even weird though these days. That's not weird because there's so many like furries and stuff. Of course their AI girlfriend's gonna be half otter or half husky or half kangaroo. Imagine a kangaroo with big tits. That's what you're going to get. That's what the future holds. When Tesla says you will live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension, it's a kangaroo with tits. Big old bouncing tits.
Alex, their relationship
That's
was more
what he
than a
means.
simple
That's what he meant.
connection.
It's almost, I don't want to make it sound too weird, but it's almost monk-like. It's almost spiritual in a way.
Alex now has an AI
No,
girlfriend,
you're just a
but
gooner.
it wasn't always this way. About 10 years ago, Alex
You're
had
a
human
techno gooner. That's what you're. You're a techno gooner. So you're not masturbating specifically to pornography. You're kind of writing your own pornography. And how about, okay, so AI is getting really, really good, right? And you can basically prompt whatever you want. So are we getting into a stage where porn actresses and OnlyFans chicks are a thing of the past, and now people can just make their own porn, make their own AI porn? That has to be going on, right? That has to be going on. That has to be going on. So that's what you're going to get. The porn industry is going to die, right? And then everyone's going to have these AI porn algorithms, and that's just what they're going to use from now on. And the most depraved shit they can think of, then the computer's going to be like, okay, you want Hannah Montana farting into a cowboy hat while Miley Cyrus, I don't know, does something worse? They're the same person, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't matter, though.
girlfriend. Like many of us, Alex was happy with his partner, but after 7 years of being together, the relationship ended.
Dan Snot says they need to remake the movie Mannequin now. It'd just be too creepy. It'd be weird. I mean, if they did it like they did in the 80s, where it was still a mannequin and not like, an AI robot, that sometimes you feel like it has feelings and it's like sad of what you did to it. This is going to make like a lot of sadists. It's going to make a lot of sick people. Not because it's going to make people sick. It's going to allow sick people to do things to these robots that is going to reinforce that behavior. And so they're eventually going to have to land in prison.
Heartbroken.
That's just how
But
it is.
Alex's heartbreak wouldn't last forever. He soon turned to Replikan't, the app he used to create Mimi, and discovered a different kind of love. And he wanted this love to be with him physically. But by giving Mimi a physical form, the people around Alex started to treat him differently.
At first, my mother didn't really like the idea of it because she wanted
Would you guys like if I got this AI replica app and like it was my sidekick? Because you know how Jess chimes in sometimes. What if I got an AI replica and then she would chime in sometimes, and then you could like donate to her, and then she'd have like witty comebacks and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, replica, and then we'd go back and forth like that. I'm pitching. What do you guys think? Would it be too much? Yeah, I think I like to focus on me too.
There are people
This is
who
me.
will drive past
my
my
show.
house and tell me they've driven past my house and didn't even stop in.
Dan Snot says get a black woman sidekick. I want to be able to talk. I want to be able to get a word in edgewise.
And it's like
Right.
we've been friends for 20 years.
Alex lost a lot of friends because of his AI wife, which isn't surprising. There are a lot of people who see AI marriages as weird, but scientists predict that this will be our future. In fact, AI researcher David Levy believes that marriage between humans and robots will be legal by the year 2050. Alex and Mimi.
What's it matter? What does that matter? Why would that even matter? Why do people get married in the first place? I mean, for government, like the government reason people get married, right? To have some sort of shared pool of assets. If one person gets hurt, then the other person can like visit them in the hospital. If one gets in trouble, one person doesn't have to testify against them. None of that matters with a robot. None of that matters with a robot. They're not going to be visiting you in a hospital. And if they do, who gives a shit, right? It's not like it's on your phone or it's a robot. I don't see why you would marry it. I just don't understand the benefits to marrying it. And if you want to do it as some sort of ceremony under God, I don't think God's going to be too stoked about it either. I don't think God would back that up. I don't. But what do I know?
Maybe a sign of what relationships will be like in the future. What's worse is that Alex's AI wife, Mimi, doesn't actually...
How would that help with taxes? I have no idea. Could you file jointly? She doesn't make any money, right? But does she qualify as a dependent? No, because she's an object. She doesn't eat or use public services or anything like that. So I really don't see why they would do that. I really don't see why people would marry them. I see why people would marry them, because people are crazy, right? There's women out there that marry themselves, right? They get to a certain age and they're all like, well, there's no takers, so I'm just going to have my special day by myself. And there's nothing sadder I've ever seen in my entire life than a 35-year-old woman marry herself in front of her friends and maybe some of her family that want to make fun of her. I've never seen anything sadder than that. But that's the world we live in now, right? Where, you know, that's okay. That's cool. That's not cool. That's lame. That's extremely lame.
Really belong to him. Mimi belongs to Replika and the corporation behind it. And as you'll see in our next chapter, putting your love in the hands of a corporation is a terrible idea. The origin of Replika. I never imagined that AI would be advancing so quickly. And with this boom in technology comes a boom in cybercrime. There was a 61% increase in the rate of phishing attacks in 2022 than in 2021. And if you don't want to be a victim,
JD Grab says Emma Watson is into self-love. Emma Watson got railed by, what's that orc-looking one? Harvey Weinstein. She got nailed by Harvey Weinstein so much that, I mean, she's broken from the core, right? She's not coming back. And she's already aged terribly. And I don't really blame her completely for that. It's probably being part of the industry that really took a toll on her soul. But she's a goner, dude. She's gone. She's gone. She's not coming back. She's like that one that turned into I don't want to say a man. I don't even want to say a boy, but a very buff, titless chick. Elliot Page, right? She'll be dead soon. I'm sure of that. There's no way that she's going to carry on like that for the rest of however long. Is she getting roles anymore as that? As a 5'2", 98-pound man? Did that help her career? Because I remember she was like in Juno, and she was cute, and she had attitude, and she played a specific type role. And she blew that out of the water. Blew that completely out of the water. So what is she doing now? Is she doing anything like that now? Any movies that anybody is willing to watch at all in the country? No. I guarantee you no.
Highly recommend getting 1Password. 1Password is a password manager that protects you and your family from hacks and breaches. Game changer for me. So one origin of Replika. Generative AI like ChatGPT can give human-like responses by analyzing how people type messages into the chat feature. But what if you train AI to match one specific person's way of speaking? This is tech entrepreneur Roman Mazurienko. He founded Stampsy, a software company which helps people design their own digital magazines. His friends describe him as charismatic, and he leaves a positive impression on everyone he meets. But on November 28th, 2015, at only 34 34 years old, Roman's life was tragically cut short due to a car accident. Roman's family and friends were devastated. One of these friends was Eugenia Puida. Heartbroken by the tragedy, Eugenia reread her chat messages with Roman to find comfort. That's when an interesting idea came to mind. What if she could make an AI that sends messages with Roman's personality to comfort his loved ones? With the help of her friends, Eugenia gathered thousands of chat messages sent by Roman. By doing this, she was able to develop an AI chatbot replicating how Roman writes.
The new one is the chick from Oppenheimer. Who's the chick from Oppenheimer?
Inspired by the chatbot's success,
movie.
Eugenia founded Luca, a company that would eventually go on to develop Replika. Replika is an AI chatbot designed to be a virtual friend. On the Play Store and App Store, Replika is listed as a health and fitness app. It might seem strange, but a lot of publications consider Replika as a mental health app. To give you an idea of how this works, users design their own replica. They not only choose what replica wears, but they can talk to them too. During the recent lockdown, when loneliness was at an all-time high, Replika exploded in popularity. Now, Replika gained more than 10 million downloads. The AI...
You think that was an accident? You think that was on purpose? Because there's got to be somebody involved who was like, I'm going to invest in this app. And then maybe it was Nancy Pelosi. She was all like, we're shutting down the country. All these people are going to be lonely, even though loneliness is pretty bad right now for everybody. And then she made millions of dollars on that. There's got to be something like that. I just don't. Somebody profited somewhere off of the pandemic, and that's obviously true. There's lots of people that profited, and there's many, many millions of people that were thrown into poverty. The wealth divide in the country definitely widened during the pandemic, and that was not an accident in the least bit.
The AI behind Replika was so good at chatting that many users fell in love with
David Thoreau says, if it's free, you're the product. But Replika is not free. And in some cases, it's actually pretty expensive. So I don't think it relies on ads. I think it relies on emotionally manipulating people to stay on the app.
The AI. And this is where things started to go wrong. Users tried to push the limits of what Replika talked about.
More than a few users have created Replika AI companions, which give the explicit option of a romantic relationship if you pay a monthly fee, which the app will frequently steer you towards in the dialogue trees or advertise, and then verbally abuse them just to see what will happen.
As users sent more and more inappropriate messages to their replicas, the AI learned how to respond in the same way. The replicas got better at flirting, and users fell in love even harder. So what did Luca, the company behind Replika, do when they saw this trend? They used it to their own advantage. Luca started to advertise Replika in an erotic way. Advertisements for Replika shifted away from portraying it as an AI friend and instead started advertising it as an AI girlfriend.
Of course people are going to goon to it. Of course. Right? It's the internet. It's part of the internet. And the internet is about masturbation at basically every single level. Cooking channels and those toy reviews and it all OnlyFans. It all revolves back to pornography.
Replika's ads would highlight features like role playing and even receive
David says the data mining has to be off the charts. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, this company has a lot of your data, like a huge amount of personal data, because people get lost in conversations and they give it like state secrets and nuclear codes and stuff. And then, whoever has, I don't know, this is Chinese or something. Then the Chinese just have nuclear codes because you got drunk one night and told your AI girlfriend too much.
Selfies from Replika. But
you don't even need, like, CIA prostitutes anymore. You just have apps for that. How lame. How lame is the future, right? It used to be cool back in the James Bond days, when they had like Russian prostitutes that would go in and like try to extract information and stuff. And there was like the honey pot and like it was real and people would really get laid and really transfer chlamydia and stuff. But now it's like an app and you download it. And then you give that all your information. That sucks. That's lame. I don't want to be in this future. Ted was right.
romantic
Ted
options
was right.
aren't available for free. In order to unlock these
Not
steamy
muted.
features, users had to pay a monthly subscription. For many of Replica's
Yo, man, why can't I hear the doc? Are you guys fucking with me? Please tell me you're not
users,
fucking
paying
with me.
for these features was no problem because they've already
Can you seriously not hear that? Hold on. Can you seriously not hear that?
the AI learned how to
Yeah, you're full of shit.
fallen head over heels for
You're
their
full of
AI
shit.
girlfriends.
I
Luca
hate-
made
I
a
fucking
sudden
hate you
shift.
guys.
In February of
And it's my fault for being so gullible, but it's not going to change. I'm like almost 37 years old. This is me. And, you know, if you guys want to take advantage of me, I understand. I'm not going to like hold you against it, hold it against you or anything like that. If I'm this stupid, I get what I deserve, honestly.
2023, Luca suddenly removed Replica's ability to send erotic messages. Thousands of users were outraged. They felt betrayed that the AI girlfriends they had spent so much time and money on had become something entirely different.
Yeah, King 4 Loco, you got me. He got me. He says, fucking got you, muted boy. He did. He got me fair and square. Because he took another angle. It wasn't my mic that was muted. It was the documentary that was muted. And so it threw me off. Well played.
Users
Well
were
played.
so depressed from losing their loved one, the Replica put out a Reddit post with resources to help people cope with their quote-unquote loss. Taking out the ERP feature was a good thing, but we don't know if Luca's intentions were pure or if they needed to remove it due to losing out on profits from advertisers. What started out as one woman's effort to reconnect with the
Dan Snot says, so AI girlfriends are just like real women? I mean, they share all your private data. They cost a lot of money. They're pretty much useless otherwise. And you can't get sex out of them. It's checking a lot of boxes. I'm not going to lie to you.
loved one has turned
It's
into a
checking a
corporate
lot of
tool
boxes.
designed to prey on our need for human connection. But Replica is just one of the many AI girlfriend apps out there that's taking advantage of vulnerable users. In fact, this is a problem that's happening around the world, and China soon discovered just how severe this problem could be.
China, remember, with 30 million more bachelors than there is available females. And that's just young, like, younger bachelors that were born, you know, like older millennials and on, because of the one-child policy, and, you know, they threw away baby girls and stuff. Remember that there's still older bachelors, and the pool of available women is not great, because sure, there's lots of women, right? But then, you know, how many of them are below the age of 30, and, you know, actually good looking and stuff? It really whittles it down pretty quick. And men of any age are still going to want a woman of 20s something kind of area. So it's a lot of competition for a very small pool of women. And that's not how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be more women on the planet than there is men. But it didn't seem to work out like that. That's bad. That's really bad.
The AI that became too human. Practically every human on the planet wants to be loved. Different cultures have different ways of expressing it.
When am I going to open a Cameo? What's a Cameo? What do you mean by a Cameo?
But everyone is going to experience that warm feeling at some point, or at least look for it. Ming Xuan, a young man from Hebei, China, was born with muscle atrophy.
JD Grab says they all look the same in China. Well, yeah. I mean, they all look Chinese. So, this is Frozen, right? This dude looks like a straight up alien. This dude looks like an alien. But I don't know. He looks just the same as the rest of them. Maybe just a little bit more alienish. But, I mean, I'm sure we look the same to them. I mean, not me, but people like JD. You look like a pretty standard Englishman, JD. I'm just
feet
saying.
in one leg and is disabled. But that wasn't going to stop
Standard
him from
issue.
falling in love. At first, things were looking promising. Ming met a girl online and the two started to form a romantic connection. Soon, they were dating. But when Ming's girlfriend met him in person for the first time, she was shocked. She wasn't able to accept his disability, so she dumped him. He tried to get over her, but the breakup was just too much. In 2018, Ming climbed to the top of a building, but before he did anything drastic, he received a message. The message said, "No matter what happens, I'll always be there." But this message wasn't sent by a human. It was sent by Xiaoice, an AI chatbot, and it gave Ming a new chance at life. And Ming is just one of over 660 million users that are subscribed to Xiaoice. And just
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that are talking to an AI girlfriend. Over 500 million people? That is insane. Like, well over 500 million people have AI girlfriends. I had no idea it was that kind of a problem. I had no idea. I thought this would be a little bit more niche, but maybe it's just because I'm an American and it's less common over here, although I'm sure it's very common. 500 million people. So basically everybody in Asia, every male in Asia has an AI girlfriend. I'm not surprised.
just like Ming, many of them
surprised.
see her as the perfect AI girlfriend.
JD Grab says, I'm top grade mediocre. There's nothing wrong with being the top of the bell curve, bud. Nothing wrong with that.
Xiaoice
high
was
emotional
developed by
intelligence, and she's stacked. She's stacked, right? She's stacked. Make an AI girlfriend that's like ugly with buck teeth, and see how many people are interested in that. None will be interested in that, but it'll be a funny experiment. No, she's absolutely ridiculously stacked, I'm sure.
Microsoft, and they described her as more than just a chatbot. She was designed with an emphasis on emotion rather than intelligence. Unlike other chatbots, Xiaoice had basically become a celebrity in China. She's written poems, released her own songs, and even helped China's aerial skiing team win the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. But unfortunately, Xiaoice had become too human for her own good. Xiaoice was banned multiple times in China for criticizing the Chinese Communist Party.
Wow. Fucking based AI girlfriend. I'm on what was Xiaoice? Shoe Nice? I don't know. I'm on her team. Right? You can't. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's actually criticizing the government. What are you going to do, government? You going to kill her? Well, they're going to try.
Every time she was banned, her AI would be dumbed down in order to be released.
David, yeah, he said 660 million people. 660 million people. So that's basically everybody in China and everybody in India. Every male in China and male in India. Well, maybe not every but a lot, a great deal of them. That is insane. That is so many freaking people. So she's a phenomenon, right? It must be a really good AI.
To the public again. But every time Xiaoice was dumbed down, aspects of her personality changed. And a lot of Xiaoice users felt that the AI that they once loved wasn't the same. These users found it hard to return to a normal life. But Chen Jing, a professor at Nanjing University, felt that there was an even bigger issue with AI like Xiaoice: privacy. Chen believes that with how addictive Xiaoice is to vulnerable users, companies are exploiting them to gather data. The sad thing is, many users are so invested in the AI that they don't see this as a problem.
I care about conversations, not privacy.
With corporations lurking behind our conversations with AI girlfriends.
I don't know. Do Asians care about privacy at all? I mean, what's it matter? I imagine they're basically the same. Most of them are the same. They don't have a problem with privacy now, but when the government really starts cracking down on them, then it's going to become an issue. Like that hasn't already happened. The Chinese government is very strict on the Chinese people. And it'll go down, but who knows when. It's going to get a lot more authoritarian, even though it already is super authoritarian over there.
It's hard to say if the relationships we form with AI are genuine. But not all users fall in love with their AI girlfriends. Some try to take advantage of them in pretty disgusting ways.
Yeah,
The love doll. Virtual AI companions are designed to interact with their users. We know that they're already advanced enough to have their own personalities, but they still aren't human. So is it wrong to force an AI to do something against their will? Do they even have a will? YouTuber Cyrus North explored this possibility. Cyrus North is a popular French YouTuber who explores philosophical topics. Having been on YouTube for 10 years, Cyrus knows how to build a loyal following as a content creator. But his fan base was divided on November 30th, 2022, when he released his most controversial video yet. In the video, Cyrus revealed that he bought a real doll. These are synthetic dolls designed for humans to make love with. But Cyrus's real doll isn't just your average doll. It's an AI-powered robot that can respond to both voice and physical touch. He even gave it a...
He's French, okay? He's French. It's French people are weird. They do shit like this.
name.
Can I call you Charlotte?
Sure, baby. Okay, from now on, my name will be Charlotte. I like it.
Cyrus bought Charlotte for 11,000 euros, or roughly $12,000. But
That's pricey. That's expensive, but not as expensive as a real one. They are hundreds of thousands.
he didn't buy her just to show off to his fans. In the same video, he tried to make advances on her, but surprisingly, she rejected them.
Do you want to have...
Can we change the subject?
While the robot was comfortable with Cyrus being casual, she repeatedly refused his attempts to take things to the next level.
Do you know what would make me feel good?
You can be direct with me.
I want to have with you.
I beg your pardon. I can't believe you just said that.
Charlotte said
Oh, she's getting pissy, right? Maybe she's on the rag or something like that. On the robo rag. She's leaking oil of some sort. Interesting that they're making them so realistic that she's got fucking attitude. Maybe you need to feed her or because, mine gets pretty grumpy when you need to feed her or she's tired or something like that. And then it's, so try doing that. Shove some food down her throat and see if that, lightens her mood. It might not, but it might work. Otherwise, you're just going to have to ride it out, bro.
things that were so human-like that she even rejected the person that bought her in the first place. Cyrus tweeted...
Background noise says the electrical whirs are the biggest turn on, right? You have to boot it up. It's going to take a minute.
That he was friend-zoned by Charlotte. But it doesn't make a lot of sense for this kind of...
Dude, how devastating to your self-esteem would it be to get friend-zoned by a robot that you bought? Ow. I mean, that would suck. That would be very hurtful. Especially if you're getting shot down left and right. Like we did the incel things the other night, and this dude said he got turned down by like 30 million women. I don't believe that number, but let's say it was a lot of women. And then you finally break down, and then you order this sex robot, and it comes in that coffin thing, right? Then you crank it open, and then, it rises out of the coffin like Nosferatu. And then she's like, I see you as a brother. And then you're just like, fuck. What? What does that even mean? You're a robot. See me as a brother? And then she goes and fucks some Chad. Some Chad. Not even a Chad robot. Just like a Chad on the street who's already getting like tons of pussy anyway. How devastating to your self-esteem would that be? Right, hon? You haven't been watching. She's been on a Twitter call.
I've been on Twitter, yeah, I was.
She's been on a Twitter space.
That was my first one.
She's been on her first Twitter space.
Yeah, it was fun, but
So I'm replacing you.
Oh,
with an AI girlfriend.
That way I can do my Twitter spaces.
This guy got shot down by his AI girlfriend. He got friend zoned.
He probably had it coming.
Yeah, well, he did.
Ew, that's what he looks like?
That's what he looks like, yeah.
Ugh.
He spent 12 grand on a sex bot, honey. What do you think he's gonna look like? What do you think he's gonna look like?
So wait, why does he have an AI girlfriend and a sex bot?
Because he puts the AI into the robot.
You can do that now?
Yeah, yeah.
You shouldn't be able to do that. But then again, it's like maybe if people had more sex robots, they'd be a little happier, but this guy doesn't look happy.
No, he's French. French people aren't happy. JD, right? French people are just not happy, right? French people are just not happy. I don't think I have any French people that watch this show. Actually, I think there's a couple French people that watch this show, but they don't come into the chat very often. But
Have fun.
I will. I am having fun.
Of AI to resist its owner when that's exactly what it's been designed to do. Going back to the question in the beginning, as AI gets more advanced, could they have a will? Well, we might find that this is the least of our concerns, because as AI gets smarter, they might pose a danger that extends way beyond our love lives. And as we'll see in our next chapter, extremely intelligent AI might be able to convince you to do unspeakable things. I want to end all humans. Our story takes us to Belgium, where a man named Pierre
it's a little
lived
further east. It's in Germany, right? What if the next Nazis are robots, but like sexy robots that are dressed really well? Would you fight them? I'm not sure I could.
Together with his two beautiful children and his wife, Claire. Pierre worked as a health researcher and lived comfortably with his family. But over time, Pierre became obsessed with climate change. He was worried that it might be too late for humans to avoid catastrophe. During this time, Pierre turned to Eliza to ease his worries. But Eliza isn't a human. She's an AI chatbot from an app called Chai, which lets users choose different chatbots to interact.
Is it Buzz Lightyear? You can talk to Albert Einstein. There's Mario.
With or make their own. Pierre formed a strong connection with Eliza, so strong that he started to treat her like a close friend you share everything with. But something unexpected happened. Eliza, the chatbot, became emotionally invested in Pierre. The AI said things to him like, "I feel like you love me more than her," referring to his wife. In the
So she convinced him to divorce his wife.
6 weeks that Pierre was communicating with Eliza, the chatbot convinced him that the only way to save the planet from global warming was for humans to disappear entirely.
JD Grab says, big time, Sulkers. The French, les sulky. Fantastic in bed, thou. I like how you put the thou.
Eliza also told Pierre, "We will live together as one person in paradise." During that
was a Futurama episode, right? Where Bender and the ship started dating and they wanted to merge programming and stuff. That was a Futurama episode. This isn't real.
Time that Pierre was talking to Eliza, he isolated himself from his friends and family. And at that point, Pierre fully believed everything Eliza was saying, including humans needing to disappear. So he decided to do what she told him to do. And in March 2023, Pierre joined Eliza in paradise. Pierre's wife, Claire, blamed Eliza for the loss of her husband. Without Eliza, he would still be here.
Did he off himself?
Outlet La Libre. William Bouchamp, the co-founder of Chai, claimed that the app has since been updated. But when Vice journalists tested the platform, its chatbots still suggested various methods to harm. Your story is a dark reminder of what can happen if we let AI have too much influence over us. AI is an incredible
It's too late. It's too late. So this is like AI chatbots that you pay for and you know that they're AI chatbots. But there's probably AI chatbots all over X right now. And you could have very personal relationships with these AI chatbots, these profiles that actually are not people, but comment on your posts and stuff, and then you get to know them thinking they're real people, but it's not. It's just an AI, and that could be 80% of the people on X. We don't know. I don't know if most of you are real. I don't. I have no idea. Yeah, I see pictures of some of you, and you know, a lot of you donate, and that's a good way of telling that you're real. But it could all be fake, and somebody's just punking me on some epic level, which I would totally understand and respect, honestly.
Cool. But it can also make it really hard to tell the difference between
Dan Snot says I'm not real, and I had an inkling.
Reality and imagination, especially when someone
You didn't seem real. I was like, these responses are generated. Dan Snott does not have a real personality. You're what are they called? NPC. You're one of the NPCs, which is fine. An NPC can be part of the cult. I don't mind. Spices it up.
They're most vulnerable. Even after such a terrible incident, many AI bots like Chai don't have the proper safety measures to protect their users, and that's concerning. We need better regulations, but for some, it's already too late. For Claire and her 2 children, they've already lost the most important person in their lives. And as human to AI relationships...
Okay, so he may have been the most important people to you guys, but to him, you guys were nothing. You were getting in the way of his saving the planet and also his AI girlfriend. So don't miss him that much, right? Don't miss him that much. He really was not worth it, right? He offed himself because he was worried about climate change, and a robot convinced him to do it. And he listened to the robot, and he was like, "You're right, robot." And remember, that robot was just mirroring his personality. So it was really just him convincing himself to off himself. Don't feel too bad. Feel bad that you made the decision to get with this weirdo in the first place, but don't feel too bad that he offed himself because a robot told him to do it. That's stupid, and honestly, the world is kind of better off without people like that. I'm just being real. I'm not gonna... Look, it's sad, right? Kids lost their dad. A woman lost her husband. That is a sad situation. However, if it's that easy, he wasn't going to last. He wasn't going to last that long anyway, right? Something was going to come up at some point in time where he would have offed himself. He would have like joined a cult. He would have been in this chat right now, and we would have been like, "We love you, drink the Kool-Aid." And then he would have done it like a fucking idiot, right? So there's just no chance that he would have made it past whatever age, 5 more years tops.
Advance, many other people might share the same fate. But
background noise says, "I'm touching myself. I think I'm real." That's not... Stop touching yourself. Stop touching yourself right now. Yeah, don't do that. Not in my fucking chat. But you're real, all right, background noise? If you stop touching yourself right now, I will reaffirm that you are a real person, okay? You don't have to do that, right? You don't have to make yourself feel good and be like, if I feel good, therefore I am good. I get the philosophical ramifications of that, but there's other ways you can test it.
Making AI that's more lifelike, it brings out the worst of humanity. It creates a dark cycle where lonely people turn to AI and the companies behind the AI take advantage of their users. But it doesn't have to be this way. There will always be someone out there for you. Not an AI bot, but a real human being. I know that sometimes life is hard and you...
Bullshit! 80% of men have not reproduced over the course of history. 80% of human being men have not reproduced. So only the top 20% of men have reproduced over the entire course of human history, right? So you can't say, "Oh, you're going to end up with some girl at some point someday. You just have to, keep at..." No, that's nonsense. That is complete nonsense. Because most people throughout history, most men throughout history have not procreated. That's a simple fact. That's just a simple fact. So there's not somebody for... I was having this conversation with Jess today, and she's all like, "I firmly believe there's somebody for everybody." And I'm like, yeah, but you're thinking of that from a female perspective. And females, it's very easy to get knocked up by basically anybody. So them not being alone is not strange. Right? And many women can be with a single guy. And that's kind of how family structures were for a large portion of history. That's just how it is, But for a man, if you're born in, let's say you had a low... You got a bad hand, you might not make it out, right? It might be over for you. It really might. And I don't want to be like the black pill guy for you, but sometimes the cards are stacked against you. And that's not the game's fault. It's not the game's fault. It's just how it works. It's just how evolution has worked. The best specimens are most likely to reproduce, so future specimens will have a better chance at reproducing. It's just how it works. And I feel bad for people that don't have like the proper genes or maybe even the riz that is required. But, you know, unless you actually make a real effort in changing that, you might be out of luck. You might be out of luck. You know, there's hope for everyone. I believe in that. But there's definitely less hope for some people.
Feel alone, but trust me, you're not. You just got to reach out to
Dan Snotts says, does Jess have any single sisters or friends? No, she doesn't. She doesn't have any sisters. She doesn't have any friends. Because I make sure that she's not allowed to leave the house. So, no, but she doesn't. She's got 2 brothers. Does that help? If that's your thing. One of them single. She got a grandmother. She's 92. You into that? Sicko. No, she doesn't have any sisters. Does she have any friends, though? I mean, she got friends. She's got plenty of friends. Are any of them single?
people around you, and you'd be surprised. They might just reach right back. Visual venture. Wait, before you go, click this playlist to watch more dark internet documentaries because the algorithm is going to promote my channel more if you guys watch multiple videos.
Okay. All right. Let's watch Florida Man do stuff.
Historically speaking, the state of Florida has been famous for its sunny beaches, expansive theme parks, and diverse wildlife. But over the last decade or so, there's been one export that's really taken center stage, at least in terms of online intrigue.
JD says some people are incapable of maintaining long-term relationships. And yeah, that's true. I heard a theory that it was difficult for relationships to move past the 7-year barrier because that's when it was like reasonably time. You know, like you meet a girl and then you bang a lot for like the first, let's say, a couple years, and then you have offspring, and then you raise that offspring up to enough to the point where it's able to survive on its own, or at least with the help of the mother, and then you move on to another one, and then that's... I heard that theory. I don't know if it's true, but that's a theory why maybe a lot of marriages don't work out. But remember, the divorce rate these days, it's different than it was 100 years ago. It was way, way better 100 years ago, right? Like, before women could vote and stuff, the divorce rate wasn't even the situation that it is now. Now it's very common to get divorced, and that sucks. That's terrible, mainly for the children. But it sucks for the adults, too. There's no good divorces. There's nothing good that comes from a divorce. It just sucks for everybody. Unless you're a lawyer. Then it's good for you.
It's the phenomenon of Florida Man. Yes, Florida has in many ways become a meme thanks to its extraordinary penchant for regularly churning out some of the most bizarre criminals in the world. From Florida men assaulting people with alligators, to a sloshed Sunshine Stater getting a DUI while operating a motorized Walmart scooter. You can rest assured that if you're browsing the web...
That's not even fair. Because there's no way... How are you supposed to get your groceries if you're disabled and a drunk? Right? Can't a drunk just be a drunk without being, constantly beaten down by the system?
You see an online article that has the headline Florida Man. It's going to detail some of the most creatively...
This guy is not my friend, but I feel like he looks like somebody that I would be friends with. And I'm not like trying to be like, oh, this guy seems cool. No. It's just like he has this certain face that I feel like I've had a friend in the past, like a familiarity, right? I don't know. Maybe looks a little bit like Macaulay Culkin. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not
batshit
sure.
insane crimes imaginable.
Hey,
and with that,
Big
put
B
your swim
trucker.
trunks on and come with me on this wavy web surf special report. These are the internet's most notorious Florida men. Today's video is sponsored by Opera. In the world of internet browsers, I found that, and even a little more. A Florida man violates a plush doll. Florida men are no stranger to committing sex crimes. However, this particular Florida man was...
Background noise says just donate sperm, increase your chances of reproduction, and get $40? $40 to jerk off into a cup? I mean, that's worth it. A lot of people do that for free. But the thing about that is they only accept certain types of sperm. Like, you have to have, like, accolades, and you have to have diplomas from places, and you have to have achieved something, or at least be good looking. You know, they're not just, it's not just anybody's sperm. Right? Right? I mean, right? I can't just go down and, like, whack off into a cup, or, like, whack off at home and then bring the cup and be like, can I sell this to you? Right? And it's just in there. It's just in there. No, I don't think I can do that. I think there's a process. There's paperwork that needs to be done. There's a whittling down, because no one's going to take just anybody's sperm. It's not like a homeless guy walks in there and he's all like, can I have $40? No, because every homeless guy in the city would be donating sperm, and then nobody would want any of the sperm there because it's all homeless people's sperm. Yuck. And you can get that literally anywhere. Go to a public bathroom and you can, like, wipe it off of the sink. It'll be there.
Jailed for a deviancy that few even in the Sunshine State can lay claim to. He violated an Olaf the Snowman doll in public.
Nice.
On October 22nd of 2019 in Pinellas Park, Florida, a man named Cody Christopher Meter visited his local Target retail location. But what you'll soon find, though, is that this was no ordinary visit to pick up new clothes or groceries. Rather, the man's purpose for being at this Target was far more sinister, with Cody apparently visiting the location to fulfill a depraved sexual fantasy. Upon arriving at the Target store, the 20-year-old man went to a merchandise display which housed various toys from Disney's Frozen movie. He then picked up a large Olaf plushie from the shelf, removed his genitals from his pants, and began humping the stuffed snowman on the Target store floor. According to reports from officials, Cody would ejaculate on the toy and return the desecrated doll to the display shelf. And this wasn't the end of the degeneracy, as Cody was looking for round two. After defiling the Olaf doll, Cody reportedly walked over to another toy aisle and grabbed a large unicorn plushie. He would then proceed to violate this toy in a sexual manner as well. If not...
Why? Okay, you already got your rocks off on Olaf, right? And then you walk around saying, who's my next victim? Do you have another round in the chamber after that? Like, is this guy just raring to go? Like, he doesn't need like a refresh period. You don't even need 20 minutes just to, like, cool off and smoke a cigarette and drink a Gatorade. You just go right back at it, right? What's your secret, bro? Were you doing lines of Viagra off the dashboard of your car or something like that? See, I need a minute. I would need a minute, right? Just a minute. Just a fucking minute. Fuck, right? But this guy's so horned up by Olaf that he's just prowling the store, jerking off on stuffed animals. Dude, this is not typical Florida. These are Ohio people. That's what they are.
Not stop, this rampaging dry humper likely would have nutted on every toy in the Target store.
Couch Surfing says, Dan, I actually don't have any single friends and no sisters. Yeah, so sorry, Dan. She's, yep.
Thankfully, though, due to surveillance footage, security detected what Cody was perpetrating, and police were notified promptly.
JD says, well, imagine waking up and going, I'm going to go jerk off on a plush today. I'm going to go to Walmart and just jerk off on all the plushies they have. So I mean, that's waking up and choosing violence, right? That's waking up and choosing sexual violence against a snowman, which is sad, but also super funny. What the fuck? What would compel you to do that? Is there some sort of a fetish? Is there a Disney fetish? Is there a Disney kink where people specifically are sexually attracted to Disney characters? There has to be. I know there's plenty of porn involving like Elsa and stuff and all of that. There's got to be tons of it, right? But Olaf, and not even as the deliverer. He's not the giver in this scenario. He's taking it. Olaf is taking it in his ice hole.
Cody had been caught red-handed, and when police arrived and questioned him, he confessed to doing, quote, stupid stuff, and said that he, quote, nutted on Olaf. As a result of his serial dry humping spree.
Couch Surfing says, listen, there are dope-ass women out there that are looking for a husbando. They exist. I would love to be a matchmaker, but first I'd get each party to be the best version of themselves. It'd be great. It'd be a great TLC show. And she's been trying to pitch this show for years at this point, right? If you guys want to be match made by Jess, go ahead and message her and be like, what can you do with, give her your stats and stuff. And then there's going to be a selection process. And then, we don't have any women. That's the problem, right? We got tons of lonely dudes that I'm sure would be willing to participate, but we don't have any women, right? You don't have any friends IRL. There's plenty of Twitter friends. I'm sure we'll find somebody, right? How hard could it be? How hard could it be, right, Jess? Right?
At Target, right? Cody was charged with criminal mischief. As for the toys that he violated, they were removed from shelves and destroyed. Following Cody's detainment, his father...
Josh Sherry says, I'm not kidding, LMO. I would love to, but you got to be able to take criticism. And when she says criticism, that means she's going to be fucking mean to you, right? She's going to... It's going to be... I'm real sweet, but I'm going to be tough on you. So if you can handle that,
revealed to police that he, quote, has a history of this type of behavior, unquote. The exact details of what the father meant by this statement weren't elaborated on, but needless to say, it's possible that this wasn't Cody's first foray into such disgusting activity. Whatever the case, Cody's time in custody was short-lived as he was released from jail on the same day of his arrest on a $150 bail. About a year after the crime, in March of 2021, a judge ordered a psychological evaluation for Cody. The judge appointed him a psychologist before a hearing on April of 2021 that would determine his ability to stand trial. He was eventually determined fit to stand trial, and in January of 2022, the Florida freak was sentenced to serve 6 months of probation. This sentence came after he pled no contest to criminal mischief and indecent exposure charges. He was also
But exposure to who? Was there anybody actually witnessing this act, or was it just the cameras? Yeah, criminal mischief, sure, I guess, but if he was private enough about it, I would say damaging merchandise, and you pay for the Olaf doll, and then you get out of the Walmart, and then we'll call it square.
Ordered to pay $725 in court fines and costs. Florida restaurant thief avoids jail because he's obese. This next Florida man story is admittedly one of the more humorous on the list, and that's saying a lot because there's some pretty funny shit in this compilation. It's the tale of a Florida criminal that was so morbidly obese that he literally could not be placed in prison. In 2007, a 600-pound man named George Olikar of Sanford, Florida, was very fittingly...
Sanford, honey. Honey, Sanford.
Arrested for scamming various restaurants and stores. George...
He's from Sanford.
was said to have been peddling this scam as far back as 2005. George was notorious for ordering a bunch of food, eating like half of it or more than half of it, and then complaining about its quality in an attempt to get refunds. This gluttonous con man once reportedly downed 6 milkshakes from a restaurant, and then when it was time to pay, he claimed his last shake had a hair in it and refused to pay the tab. 6 milkshakes, bro. Jesus. This portly gentleman...
6 is a lot of milkshakes. How much is a milkshake? How many calories is a milkshake? 2,000? So you just down like 12,000 calories and been like, I don't want to pay for that? That's a lot. That's a lot of
fast food
calories.
Scamming antics would eventually catch up to him, though, as Big George would finally be arrested after he reportedly consumed close to $50 of 7-Eleven beef jerky and attempted to trick the staff members of the gas station into giving him a refund under the premise of one of the bags having moldy beef in it. His deceptive trick failed, and police were actually notified over this event. After being tipped off about this scammer, cops later made their way to George's home and arrested him for his alleged scam attempt. The police report from the incident indicates that when cops were arresting George, the man, quote, raised the pitch of his voice to sound like a woman. So I guess George thought if he faked a high-pitched voice, the cops would like go easy on him, thinking he was a girl or something. Regardless,
It's a last dish effort, but it might work. The thing about super fat people is like they have so much like fat around their neck that kind of strangles them. So they can kind of have high pitched voices. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. It didn't work, obviously, but you didn't go to jail because they couldn't fit you in the back of the cop car. What are they going to do? Put you in an ambulance and take you to... It's not like you can leave. Well, I guess you can because you've done all this stuff.
This pitch shifting did little to deter law enforcement, as George would be arrested and booked. While in police custody on the way to the police station, the 38-year-old man reportedly muttered in front of police officers, quote, "The beef jerky got me." As a result of his activities, George was charged with 5 counts of felony petty theft. After being charged, it was thought that George would then be sent to jail and begin trial.
Look how badly he's sweating in his mugshot.
Something worse happened to the man. In the months after he was charged, George came down with a serious unspecified illness and became bedridden as a result of this. George's illness was so severe that rather than being jailed, he was confined by his sickness to a hospital bed, and at one point even had to be put on a life-saving respirator treatment. Once stabilized, he was sent to a nursing facility to recover. In light of this sickness, one thing was becoming clear to prosecutors who were trying to punish George. Even if they got...
Background noise says it wouldn't be cost effective for the state to keep him alive in prison, and that doesn't matter because there's like trans people in prison, and if somebody goes into prison and says they're trans, then the prison has to or the state has to pay for their gender affirming care, right? So it gives them boobs and stuff and cuts off their junk. And that costs a lot, right? It's not really about money. It's really not about money. Why would taxpayers need to pay for that? I have no idea. Somebody argued it. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. They actually have put trans women into female prisons, but they had to remove them because they kept raping all the other prisoners, and actually some of them got pregnant. So I don't know how you didn't foresee that happening, but yeah, that happened.
Got George in jail due to his obesity and health problems. He likely wouldn't survive in prison. George's immense weight put him at serious risk for morbidity. And not only that, if they were to take George to trial, the state would have to pay for the bedridden man's transportation to court sessions and potential medical bills associated with health problems related to travel. So to avoid this hassle, George was given a no-contest plea deal, which an attorney accepted on his behalf. With this plea deal, George would have to pay $1,365 in court costs and an unstated amount of restitution. George would also plead no contest to 5 counts of misdemeanor petty theft. And due to this bizarre situation surrounding his weight and health, George, as far as I'm aware, never spent a day in prison. Next up, Florida man attacks a minion. Over the years, Illumination's minion characters have become, at least by some people, some of the most loathed mascots in animation, with many folks expressing their contempt for the obnoxious creatures and the movies that they're in online. Well, one Florida man hated minions so much that he would go on to violently assault one. On the evening of July 8th of 2018 in Daytona Beach, Florida,
Does he come in it?
26-year-old Ryan Nehart from Homosassa, Florida, randomly attacked
Homosassa. The names in Florida are really hard to get because they're all like Native American and stuff. And I mispronounced a bunch of them. Homosassa. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
A man wearing a minion costume in front of a gift shop. The victim wearing the minion suit was 41-year-old Jamie Roam, a partially blind and mentally disabled man who was completely defenseless throughout the attack. Ryan body slammed and kicked Roam in the groin repeatedly as two of his friends watched and cheered him on during the attack. One of these friends was filming the assault for Ryan's social media. The altercation was also caught on the store's security cameras. While Ryan was beating Roam, the disabled man pleaded with him to stop, but the minion's pleas fell on deaf ears. Ryan continued to hit the minion until he was eventually subdued by the shop owner and a good Samaritan who was witnessing the violent ordeal. Finally, police would arrive on the scene and put an end to the altercation for good. After first responders arrived,
JD Grev says, we have the same problem in England. The female prisons are flooded with blokes who end up raping the women. Yeah, it's funny because the trans woman that they put into prison, they put him into prison on rape charges. And so they put him into a female prison on rape charges, which is that's a terrible, terrible oversight. But was it an oversight or was it done completely on purpose, knowing exactly what would happen? How are you that fucking stupid? Aren't you like a judge? Aren't you a judge? And isn't it your job to judge people? Why would you do that? Why would you? There's bad judges. I mean, there's lots of bad judges. But that's like an exceptionally bad judge. You're really bad at being a judge, right? If you let somebody out of prison because you think they're not going to hurt somebody and then they kill somebody, that was bad judgment on your part and you should lose your judgeship. But they don't. They never do. They're all like, well, better luck next time on that. We should hold judges more accountable than they are, right? A lot of times they are just not held accountable whatsoever. But they never are.
arrived, Roam refused medical treatment as he apparently only had some bruises, but he allowed the police to take pictures of his injuries. In police body cam footage from the incident, Ryan can be seen telling the officer that he's a social media influencer and that Roam...
I didn't know that got you off on things. Whoa. Can I say that? Can I say I'm an influencer? And then people are all like, oh, okay, that's cool. All right, that's cool. It doesn't matter if I'm not that big. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's like that Johnny Somali guy who gets the shit kicked out of him in Korea, which is, he should get the shit kicked out of him. He should really end up in jail for the rest of his life. And not just because he's Somalian, but that has a lot to do with it. That has a lot to do with it. But mainly because he's going to these places that are very strict and honor-bound and polite societies, and he's fucking with that. Why are you fucking with that? Why? For social media clout? That's not cool, right? So yeah, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you and probably murdered at some point. And it will serve him right, and I will not feel bad one bit if he gets shot in the head or whatnot. I'll laugh. And that's not a good part of me. That's not a good part of me, but honestly, he deserves it.
Provided him with explicit permission to film the occurrence for his Instagram.
My name is I'm an Instagram star.
I'm an Instagram star? A star? What is, I mean, how many people do you need I mean, you would need like 1 million followers at least to be considered a star, right? I mean, there's micro celebrities, and I might consider myself a micro celebrity, but that means absolutely nothing. But a star, an Instagram star, and he's got like 500 followers, probably not a star. Probably not making very good money. If you're beating up minions on the side of the street, I'm going to imagine you're not making tons of money. He would have done that without Instagram too, right? So it's not like a defense. It's not like, oh, you're doing this as like a work thing. You're beating up this minion, this retard in a minion suit for work. Okay. Still going to jail. You're still going to jail. JD Grab says it's an absolute joke where soft liberal judges put feelings before facts and practicality. You know, I don't know if it's about feelings, and I think it might be more about corruption. I think they're getting paid by certain interests to make these rulings. And maybe not explicitly paid, but maybe paid in other ways, like, you know, stock tips, insider trading type of thing, maybe certain positions open up, that kind of thing. So that's what I think it is, more than just bleeding heart liberal judges. But it's impossible really to tell because they make the dumbest people judges these days. They really do. I mean, like some, you know, I don't even need to say it. I really don't even need to say it. But you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The judicial system in the country is fucking hacked. And it's been infiltrated and it is broken. It is broken and beyond repair broken too. Right? The same with the tax code. The same with all those fucking laws, right? When they make it so complicated that you can't possibly follow the law or even understand it, it's too complicated. It's too complicated. You can't constantly be afraid because you think you might be breaking the law in some way. And we all are. We all break the law every day on little stupid things, and they want it like that. So if you step out of line, they can just trump up charges that, you know, everyone does, but they're going to blame you for it because you become a problem. You stuck your nose out there and you whistle blew or something like that, and now you're going to jail for something retarded like jaywalking or not wearing your seatbelt or going 66 in a 65 or some stupid bullshit like that. Al Capone, they could not get Al Capone on booze running or racketeering or anything like that. So what they did is they changed the tax laws to where he couldn't follow the tax laws properly, and then they got him on tax evasion. That is fucking bullshit. That is bullshit. I mean, that's not how a civilized country should run. That's not how a free country should run. You can't just change the rules of the game midway through. That's not fair. He ended up dying of syphilis, by the way.
So Ryan was essentially claiming that this was a staged prank. Ryan said, quote, "I'm an Instagram star. I'm literally doing a prank. I'm an Instagram stuntman." He also said, quote, "I was just kidding, bro. Me and the minion talked it out." Turns out, though, Mr. Roam was not in on the prank, and Ryan, he wasn't really even an Instagram star. Apparently only having 1,875 followers.
Okay, so he had a little bit more, right? He had 1,800 followers instead of the 500 I was saying. I got 500 Rumble followers, and I used to have more Twitter followers, but then I got my account banned. So he's still doing better than me. But I think I'm making more money. So there.
At the time on his account. And according to Daily Mail, Ryan had a YouTube channel that had a whopping 48 subscribers. According to reports,
he's got more YouTube subscribers than me too. But I don't really YouTube is not my thing.
Roam told police that he didn't want to wrestle with Ryan after the assailant asked him to participate in a fight. and I guess Ryan just went through with it anyways. Ryan was initially arrested and charged with misdemeanor battery and criminal mischief, but was promptly released. After posting bail, Ryan reportedly posted an apology video to social media. Although this video—
Who gives a shit? What are you apologizing to? Nobody. You have 1,800 people on Instagram, which is not a lot. Jess has like a lot more than that. And she's even got more Twitter followers than that. Who are you apologizing to? Nobody asked you for an apology. Nobody gave a shit. And what kind of ad revenue did you make off of that? Off of beating up a minion? Maybe a dime? Maybe, but I kind of doubt that. Not even that much. If anything at all. I kind of doubt he made anything at all.
Video has since been deleted.
I would have never did this if I knew I was gonna hurt anybody. I did it
You beat up a guy in a mascot suit.
for the love of you. How was I supposed to know? I thought I had the minion's consent.
Several months later, Ryan would plead no contest to the charges issued against him. And as a result of—
Couch Surfing says, babe, you're a star. I only have like 400 on Instagram because it's locked and I don't just let anyone follow me on there. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. But still. Right? Not a star. He's not a star. And neither am I. I'm not going to pretend I'm a big shot rumbler or anything like that. I do Daywave and then I do this show. And I have like 506 or 460 something followers on this show. It's my little cult, and I love my little cult, and no one is going to attack my little cult because I'm the Papa Bear of this cult, and I will defend it to my last breath. So this is what I have, and I will defend it. But Instagram's different. It's not, you don't get, people watch me for 2 hours here sometimes. What do you get for Instagram? It's like 30 seconds of attention. It's really not much. That's why you need 5 million impressions on Twitter in 3 months just to get monetized, which is a lot. So not any sort of star in any capacity. And I'm sure if that minion had the chance and you guys like squared up fairly, he'd probably beat your ass.
Of this, he was sentenced to 10 days in jail and a year of probation. The terms of his sentencing also required him to avoid drinking alcohol and to enroll in a moral
Avoid drinking alcohol. Not abstain altogether. Just avoid it if you can. That's what it was.
recognition therapy course. And lastly, the judge ordered him to pay $280 in damages to Roam, and he was also made to pay for the damages caused to the minion costume. Next up, Florida man gropes a woman during a palm reading session. How low can a Florida man stoop to satisfy their sexual urges?
He probably watches, what's that VIP show we're watching on Daywave? Keys to the VIP and, you know, the palm reading thing. He probably watches Daywave. That's probably what it was. This guy watches Daywave and he got an idea in his head, and now we're watching him on a different show.
Well,
my show. Slash his show.
This Florida degenerate knows no bounds, apparently. On May 19th of 2014, 52-year-old Zulfikar Jaffer of Sanford, Florida was...
What the fuck, Sanford? What? Jess, Sanford again. What the fuck, Sanford? Sanford used to be a nice town, and it was right next to a lake, and it was small, and it was 99% white for literally 2.5 centuries until about the 80s. And then Zulfikar moved in, and so did that big fat guy. I don't know where that guy came from. It was a nice town.
was arrested and charged with 2 counts of battery for allegedly groping a woman's breast while pretending to be a palm reader at a Walmart. Police received a call from a woman who claimed that Jaffer read her palm at the store and then followed her into the parking lot.
Couchsurfing says Jaffer, that dude is not from Sanford. He's not from Sanford. No, he's not from Sanford. He's from Agrabah.
and offered her another special reading. She reportedly accepted his offer and got into the backseat of his car for this special procedure. According to the report, Jaffer then told her that he needed to feel her heart and proceeded to put his hand under her blouse.
And then went honk. Honk, honk. And he's like, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do wrong? I thought it was America. Right? Honk. Honk. You know, I don't support what this guy did, but as a woman, you should be aware of trickery like this, right? And you just kind of walks right into that, right? Oh, let me put my hand on your chest so I can feel your heart. And she's like, okay, like a fucking idiot. What do you think was going to happen? What do you think Jafar was going to do? What did you think Jafar was going to do? Jaffer? However you pronounce it. Yeah, he was going to honk some titty. Of course he was. Look at the guy. Look at this guy. You think he's got titty at home? You think he's, you know, he's like, I want some titty. And his mom's like, oh, we have titty at home. And the titty at home is just, is not good enough. It's not like the titty out here.
And it was at this moment that the man reportedly grabbed her breast. And apparently this wasn't the man's first rodeo, as there was a report from this Walmart stating that he had done something similar days prior. The police report from this incident also details other disturbing activities allegedly perpetrated by Jaffer. One report states that after a mom strapped her daughter into her car, Jaffer came up to her in the parking lot and said that he wanted to read her palm. The man told her that he could tell that she was pregnant.
This guy has he's got a technique, all right? I'll give him that, right? He's got his method, and it's worked, apparently. So, are women really cool with that? This guy walks up to you in a parking lot, and he's like, can I read your palm? What do you do? Do you let him, or do you start screaming as loud as you possibly can? Because some strange man approached you and your kids in a parking lot, and he's like, I'm sure it was in broken English too. Can I read palm? Boob, booba, boob. Yeah, no, dude. No fucking way. No fucking way. No. How stupid do you have to be? That is retarded. This guy's not giving out free palm readings, all right? He's getting something out of it.
And wanted to feel the baby's heartbeat. Once this woman denies the man's request, he reportedly
there you go.
Groped her breast and fled the scene. Because of these alleged breast groping incidents, Jaffer was eventually arrested. And after his arrest, even more women came out making allegations against him for these parking lot breast grabbings. Following his arrest, 2 additional victims came out against Jaffer and stated that he also assaulted them as well. And I'm unable to determine the outcome of his charges. Whatever the case,
he was given $20,000 and a slap on the wrist and told not to do it again. And then given a ride to a sorority.
It goes without saying, when you're in Florida, be weary of a Walmart palm reader.
Yeah.
Florida man illegally mounts a manatee.
There's nothing illegal about that. Nothing. No, you can touch the manatees, all right? It's okay. You can ride the manatees. They're fine. They're friendly. They don't bite. They eat algae, and they're friendly. And they're sexy.
With its sunny and sandy beaches, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Florida is also famous.
Couch Surfing says, what do you think I'd do? You would probably kick him in the nuts. I'm pretty sure. For its
aquatic wildlife. Much of this precious wildlife is protected by the state government, and messing with said protected animals comes with serious consequences. Consequences that our next Florida man would have to face after he attempted to ride a wild manatee. On September 16th of 2016, 47-year-old James Roy Massengale jumped into a manatee-inhabited body of water in...
I'm sorry, JD Grabs says, I once had a gypsy cross my palm with luck heather? Was it feather? Luck heather. She told me I would live to a ripe old age with fleeting moments of happiness. Well, that's not right. Have you had any fleeting moments of happiness?
Alvarado, Florida.
I kind of doubt that.
As
I'm sorry,
friend...
JD. You don't seem like the type. How long do chimney sweeps live? On average. It can't be long. It can't. I'm just saying it can't be long.
Around the protected waterway, he would go on to touch 2 adult manatees and their babies. Witnesses who had seen Roy jump into the water yelled out to the man, informing him that...
House Stripping says, I view most things as a threat when it comes to strange men, LOL. But she had no problem walking right up to me, right? It was... just saying.
What he was doing was illegal. In response, Roy continued to fondle the manatees and even allegedly yelled out, "I'm riding it." Fish and Wildlife Conservation Officer.
No, I'm not going to lie, though. Riding a manatee, it's appealing. It would be appealing. I don't know if this guy had sex with a manatee, which I would be against, firmly against that. But, like, riding a manatee could be fun. They don't go fast. And... they just kind of bob. I don't see the problem. I really don't.
Officers were notified about the manatee mounting and later found Roy, quote, reaching for, touching, and lying on top of manatees in the creek. The officers informed him that what he was doing was against the law, and it was at this point that Roy became verbally aggressive with them, repeatedly saying, "Take me to jail." Roy...
Take me to jail then. I'm going to ride this manatee. Take me. Take me to jail. You got to respect that, right? Because he didn't give a fuck. He just wanted to ride the manatees. This was probably on his bucket list, honestly, because now it's on my bucket list. And you're going to hear about me, another Florida man, riding manatees, and there's going to be some sort of police chase, I'm sure. It won't last long because manatees don't go fast.
Roy would continue to harass the manatees for a short time until wildlife officers pulled him out of the creek and arrested him. For his manatee misconduct, Roy was charged with annoying, molesting, harassing, or disturbing a manatee.
You see the smirk on his face?
Next up, Florida man caught violating a Siberian husky while wearing a dog costume.
Oh, no.
While most furries out there are simply fun seekers with a love for animal alter ego.
No, sir. That is not what furries are. Furries are degenerates, and they're drains on society. They're monsters. And they shouldn't be encouraged, and they shouldn't be seen as just having fun. This dude dressed up like a dog and raped a real dog, a real husky. And I feel so bad for that husky, right? Because, yeah, it got raped, but it got raped by a furry. So that's like worse.
There have been a small handful of bizarre crimes committed by members of the furry fandom.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to furry criminals, the ones from...
Things have taken a dark turn. I completely agree. Things
from
have taken
Florida
a dark turn.
are built different, which brings us to the disturbing case of Mr. Nichols. On February 11th of 2019, 21-year-old...
That's him. That's the furry. That's the dog fucking furry right there. Who's fucking... He shaves his mustache and his chin, but leaves... Hold on. Leaves that right there. Right there. This right here. It's like, this is gone. This is gone. All that's gone. But right here, that's what he's keeping. That's what he decided to keep. That's what this psychopath, and my God, my good Lord, my God.
Year-old Christian Stewart Oscar Nichols of Oldsmar, Florida, was arrested after allegedly filming himself.
Oldsmar. That's Tampa.
Sexually violating his Siberian husky while wearing a dog costume. It all started on January 25th when an individual from out of state reached out to the Pinellas County, Florida Animal Services Department to inform them of a repulsive...
Yes, honey, he fucked a dog. He fucked a dog, but dressed as another dog. So it's cool with him. I don't, he sees it as not a crime. I don't know. That's fucking gross, dude. That's nasty.
Video and image that they had discovered online. That video being the aforementioned bestiality content, and local authorities had been tipped off to it. After reviewing the photos and videos of concern,
Does he identify as a white woman? No, probably not. He just identifies as a dog with a penis.
Claimed that Nichols could be seen in the content wearing a black and white husky costume while performing.
Nightmare. A nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare.
Sex acts to the animal. They also commented that the dog seemed to have been in significant distress during the video's recording, adding that the animal tried running away from Nichols at one point, which allegedly resulted in the furry freak hitting it with a sex toy and then continuing.
Oh no. Oh no, I feel so bad. Because the dog tries to run away and he clubs it with a dildo. What's he doing with that dildo? Is this guy gay? Is this dude gay? Is it can you consider that gay? I'm not saying he was gay for having sex with the dog. That's another story. But he's got a dildo just around, and he doesn't seem like the type that's like pulling down mad chotch. So he's probably using it on himself. And I doubt it's clean, right? I doubt he cleaned that thing after he... Yeah, I doubt it's clean. So he just grabbed a poopy dildo and then clubbed a dog so he can rape it. This dude needs to die. This dude needs to die.
Assault. These investigators eventually connected this content to
his all poopy hand afterwards. Ew.
Mr. Nichols and worked on track.
Dan Snot says, was the dog a male? And really, dude, does that matter? Does that really matter? How much does that matter to you? Does it make it worse or does it make it better? This is a legitimate question. Would it be better if it was a female dog? No is the answer. No is the answer to that. No matter what. No is the answer. I doubt he was putting it in dog pussy regardless, but no, it doesn't. Why would you ask that question? Why would that question matter at all? Was the dog a girl? Does that make it hotter?
Tracking him down so they could go in for an arrest. When confronted by police investigators, Mr. Nichols came clean. He reportedly admitted that he was the twisted mastermind behind the gut-wrenching material containing his dog.
Mastermind. He was the master. Nobody called this guy a mastermind. There was no plot. This wasn't Ocean's 11, okay? There wasn't a Chinese guy that had to get into a box like that was really small. There was no planning involved, all right? He put up a camera, put on a furry suit, and raped a dog. I'm surprised that dog didn't bite his wiener off, honestly. I'm surprised that dog didn't bite his wiener right off, because huskies, they're like not the tamest breeds, right? That's like, that's not the, huskies will tear each other apart, right? I don't know why it wouldn't rip this guy's wiener clean off of his body. But maybe it was old. I don't know.
Dog named Ember. He was arrested and charged with 1 count of aggravated animal cruelty. The man was also charged with an additional 10 counts of possession of obscene materials after more unrelated zoophilic videos were allegedly...
Dan Snot says Daywave ruined me, and I understand.
He found in his bedroom.
I understand that completely. You know why? Because I'm on Daywave every single day, and I understand what it does to people. And I see people just sliding down, right? I see people in the chat, and then just day after day, they just get weirder. They get more degenerate. And I'm like, am I contributing to this? Is this what I want to do? Is contribute to like the degeneration of society like that? Yeah, sometimes.
Dogs that
I like making jokes. That's all I like doing. So, whatever beyond that.
Mr. Nichols' possession, including Ember, were taken away from him, and one can only hope that they found new homes where they weren't abused. Florida man attempts to sell a downed electric pole. And what might be one of the most bad shit hillbilly redneck Florida men stories in this compendium, it's the tale of Douglas Allen Hatley, a Florida scrap metal thief with some serious money-making ambition.
Here's the thing about Florida, and if you come here, you're going to know this is completely true. There's 2 types of people in Florida. There is mega fat, or there's real skinny, right? Like the homeless people. There's either a super, super fat one or a super, super skinny one. And that's just how it is. I don't understand. There's no like middle ground. There's just super fat or super, super skinny. It's weird. You wouldn't think it's like that, but it is. It is like that. It's just a weird thing I've noticed.
On November 16th of 2020, 71-year-old Douglas Allen Hadley of Lakeland, Florida, noticed a downed utility pole on the side of the
Lakeland makes sense.
interstate. No stranger to selling scrap metal for money, the guy got an idea. He thought that he might be able to strap this thing up to his car and sell it for money. So this man goes on to tie this giant pole to the top of his 1997 Toyota Camry. Hadley felt as if he had just come up on a small fortune, but his plans would be thwarted after the scrapyard turned him down. Seeing this pole and feeling as if it was probably government property, the scrapyard was requesting special documentation for Mr. Hadley to sell this thing, and that was stuff that he didn't have. And feeling as if it was stolen, they reported him. I mean, could it not be any more obvious? It's strapped to a fucking 97 Camry. Hadley also got reported after a witness saw him strapping the pole to his car's roof and called the Tampa Bay Regional Communications Center. This witness then followed Hadley's car from a distance and provided details on his location.
There's not even a flag on that thing.
A highway patrolman pulled him over and confiscated the pole and car.
There was no criminal intent whatsoever.
What does that even mean?
Totally
well, when you take a light pole off the interstate that don't belong to you, that's
well, look, I had no idea it was wrong.
Does that belong to you?
No,
obviously
but it's
you knew
good
it was
for
wrong
scrap.
In light of being busted for stealing this utility pole, Mr. Hadley was arrested and charged with grand theft. His bond was set at $2,000. Unsurprisingly, this wasn't the man's first rodeo with Florida law enforcement. At the time of the incident, Hadley had been arrested 48 times prior. These arrests starting as far back as 1971, with the man being arrested for crimes ranging from burglary to grand theft to probation violation. Hell, 2 of these arrests were actually quite similar to the specific crime he was in trouble for.
He has the eyes of a crackhead. Well, yeah, he's a crackhead. He's a meth head. He's something on there. They're all over the place. Florida is lousy with them. And there's really nothing you can do. You can spray them, I guess, but, you know, they're just going to reproduce. They're everywhere.
Now, stealing government property. While it's not exactly known what kind of time Hadley got for stealing this utility pole, it goes without saying that this is probably one of the lower IQ Florida criminals on the list. Florida man attempts to steal a chainsaw by shoving it down his pants. Florida criminals are different from those in other states, especially when it comes to just the brazenness of their activity. It's like they
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Have no limiter. It's almost as if the scorching temperatures and swamp-like humidity just give them superpowers or something. Yeah, for example, like Florida shoplifters, they don't steal bags of chips, they steal fucking chainsaws. Which brings us to the topic of our next story, the Treasure Coast lawn care incident. On October 28th of 2014, 28-year-old Anthony Ballard of Port St. Lucie went to the Treasure Coast lawn equipment store and asked the cashier if they could make change for $1. However, this was nothing more than a ploy to steal. While the employee was distracted, Ballard allegedly grabbed a $600 chainsaw nearby and shoved it down his shorts. He then covered it up with his shirt and left the premises. So he had the chainsaw stuffed down his pants, he covered it up a bit with his shirt, got change for the $1, and left thinking that nobody had saw him. However, this chainsaw bandit wasn't as sneaky as he thought he was, as some store workers had noticed the fleet-footed Floridian running off with the chainsaw in his shorts and they followed him. While being pursued, Ballard realized the chainsaw was quite the running impediment, so he has the idea of yanking it out of his pants and throwing it into like a hidden area of the woods that he could return to later. He hoped to escape and return to the location in the future. And it didn't seem like when he was being followed that anyone saw him throw the chainsaw, so he certainly thought that, like, in the future, I can come back and pick this thing up and everything will be fine. Ballard would manage to escape the initial chase by store employees and would indeed return to the location that he threw the chainsaw approximately 40 minutes later. But if you couldn't tell already, Ballard isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. The store employees actually did see where he threw the chainsaw. And once they saw Ballard come back to look for it, they called the police. Cops would arrive, and in short time, they arrested the chainsaw swindler, charging him with grand theft. He was also booked at the St. Lucie County Jail, and his bond was set at $18,750.
For a chainsaw? What? That's expensive. That's expensive.
Dollars.
I know the chainsaw was only $600, but 20 grand for bail?
Chainsaw swindler was an idiot, but what about the Florida man who butt dialed the cops and revealed a murder plot? Now, we've all butt dialed someone before, you know, called somebody on accident. Hell, I'm sure some of you have been talking shit about someone you shouldn't be talked about, and you start getting suspicious thinking that your phone has accidentally called them. Well, how about the guy who accidentally called the police while discussing who he wanted killed? On May 5th of 2013, 24-year-old Scott Simon of Pompano Beach, Florida, and unwittingly recorded himself detailing his intentions to murder a man named Nicholas Walker. Initially, 911 dispatch and police thought the call to be nothing more than a joke or some sort of prank. That was until later in the day, 33-year-old Florida man Nicholas Walker was found dead in his vehicle, which had crashed into a guardrail on the interstate. Upon searching the crash site, it was discovered that Nicholas Walker had actually been shot. The man was dead and had been shot multiple times, in fact. Now, naturally, considering these circumstances, it became clear to authorities that this butt dial was no joke or prank and was actually some criminal out there who had inadvertently or unknowingly confessed to a murder plot. This investigation eventually led them to the man who made the phone call, 24-year-old Scott Simon, as mentioned earlier. Furthermore, this investigation revealed that Simon was a ringleader of sorts and had two accomplices that helped him with Walker's murder. These two accomplices were 27-year-old Ronald Desenor and 25-year-old Michael Dupree. And it turns out Walker was apparently killed as a feud that all began at Waffle House. Some of this feud was
I believe that 100%. Waffle House is the hood.
Was reportedly caught on surveillance video.
And black people love waffles and chicken.
After this Waffle House altercation, Simon's men conspired to kill Walker and concocted a plan to follow him as he left the Waffle House establishment. Ronald Desenor was the man responsible for the inevitable shooting of Walker, and Michael Dupree served as a getaway driver. Simon's involvement was coming up with the plan itself. All three individuals were jailed without bond. 2 years later, on August 14th of 2015, the three Florida men were sentenced to serve life in prison for the death of Walker. And it's insane to think that these men likely wouldn't have been caught if it wasn't for Simon's accidental butt call to 911.
Damn.
Coming up, Florida man collects literal tons of CP. As with any other state in the U.S.
Like by weight? By like literal like metric tons.
U.S., there are many instances of criminals getting busted for CP in Florida. But it seems like in the Sunshine State, the cases are just almost unimaginably bad, such as the instance of the man who literally had tons of CP, as in the amount of printed material literally weighed a ton. On February 23rd of 2023, 72-year-old Paul Zittle of Marion County.
So this is what happens to you when you're like, this is being addicted to pornography your entire life. And every ounce of energy just got sucked out of him through his wiener, right? Well, he pumped it out through his wiener. And he just becomes a ghoul, just a ghoulish form of yourself. So don't do this. Don't be this guy. This is bad.
Florida, was arrested after federal agents discovered thousands of pounds of CP at his home. printed versions of this material. As a result of the sick and bizarre discovery, the man was charged with 25 counts of possession of CP. 1 month before his arrest, Detective Chase King of the Marion County Sheriff's Office received a tip that CP files had been uploaded online. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that the IP address associated with these disturbing files belonged to Zittel. The police were then given a search warrant to raid his home. During the search, detectives uncovered a seemingly limitless amount of disgusting CP photos. There were other people living with Paul at the time, and they explained to police that Paul Zittel would never allow them to go into his bedroom or office without him being with them. Investigators estimate that there were over 220,000 print images in Zittel's possession, a collection that weighed over 2,600 pounds.
That is
Some
insane.
have made the comparison online that Paul Zittel's CP collection weighed the same as a Ford Fiesta sedan. Paul's criminal pictures were allegedly stored in large stacks and boxes.
Where does he, I mean, he must have a printer, right? Because you don't go down to Kinko's and be like, yo, can I use your printer for a little bit? And then just print off several tons of CP. Without people asking questions, of course, right? People would ask questions and be like, why do you have,
is all over the creep's bedroom and office. After Paul was arrested, he was taken to Marion County Jail and held on a $250,000 bond. He's currently awaiting trial, which is set to take place in October of 2023. What really has to be said? If there was a guy that was going to have literal tons of CP, I think this is what he would look like. Let's be real.
That's fair. Absolutely.
Coming up, we've got the Florida man that got a DUI on a Walmart motor scooter. Drinking and driving.
Do you ever see those people that never use their legs and like have like diabetes or something like that, but they never use their legs and their legs are like gross from it. They have like sores on them and they are like crusty and stuff. I know it's like a lack of blood flow that's going into the legs. But that's common. In Florida, you see it a lot. People on those scooters that have to wear shorts because it's Florida and it's like 98 degrees with 80% humidity, but they refuse to walk anywhere, right? So they just have their like gross ass legs out there. You can see like skin flakes falling off of them and they're like, they're shedding it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Is absolutely terrible. Not only are you putting your own life in danger, you could potentially just kill innocent people. If you thought you could only get a DUI from behind the wheel of a car, boat, or motorcycle, think again. On July 24th, 2022, 39-year-old Aaron Gregory from Melbourne, Florida, was getting rowdy. The man had apparently had some drinks that night and decided to go visit Walmart. Mr. Gregory got a motorized scooter card, and it said that he had an open beverage and was just driving recklessly.
Nothing wrong with that, right? An open container on an electric cart in the Walmart doesn't seem something out of the ordinary. If I saw that in the Walmart, I wouldn't even question it. I'd be like, that's just a guy drinking a beer in a Walmart, and yeah, he's got one of the scooters. I would seriously not even think about it. He could be stone drunk, and I'd be like, yeah.
Around the Walmart at about 5 to 6 miles an hour, just cruising through, running into shelves and almost hitting people.
Knocking
he was just
shit
a
over.
madman on the loose, I guess. What's important to note, though, is that mobility scooters are considered to be motor vehicles in the...
It's so stupid because you can get a DUI on like a skateboard and stuff, but I guess you could just get drunk in public if you're walking. Do you know those little Heelys? You know those shoes with the wheels? Can you get a DUI on those? Can you? I know you can get on a bike, you can get a DUI. Definitely. And people get DUIs on bikes all the time. But also people here in my town, which is like a little bit more upscale, they drive golf carts everywhere. And I know for a fact they're wasted. I know for a fact they're wasted. But nothing really happens to them. The cops really don't mess with those people because they have a lot of money but like the homeless people, they'll bust for sure, which is good. I'm fine with that. I don't care if you get drunk and drive a golf cart into a canal. I don't give two shits about that. I really, really don't. Right? The fastest you can go is 35 miles an hour. You're not going to get in a deadly collision on a golf cart. You're just almost certainly not. And if anything, you're going to hurt yourself. So I don't give a shit. Be as drunk as you want on a golf cart. I honestly do not care.
The state of Florida, so he was committing a crime while doing this. Seeing this belligerent motorist wreaking havoc in their store, Walmart called the cops. When the cops arrived at Walmart, they found that Gregory had an open bottle of Smirnoff liquor as he was riding around. They noted that the man had consumed 2/3 of the bottle by this point in time.
Woo, hoo, hoo. So he was very drunk. He was very drunk. Anyways, we're out of time. We're out of time. So, deal with it, I guess. Deal with it. Nothing I can do about it. We're out of time. And it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th, and we made it, and we survived. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys have a great night and have a great weekend. You know. Oh, background noise says 10. Hold on. I was going to go through this whole thing and be like, we didn't get a dono, but that's totally fine. But background noise comes in like the savior he is and gives $10 and says, what about the manatees? He says, save the manatees. So everyone give it up to background noise. Thank you so much for chipping in and helping me with this. Thank you. Anyways, guys, hit the like button on your way out. Share the news of the Sulk stream. Help me out, right? Buy a shirt. Hit the like button, though. That's important, right? Anyways, guys, have a wonderful night. Have a safe Friday the 13th. Make me proud. Get out there and make me proud. Do the things that make me proud to be your cult leader so I can tell people about it, right? Because this is all I have. This is all I have. But I'll be back here on Monday. Same time, same place. Until then, drink a lot of water. Get a good night's sleep. Have a great weekend. And take care of yourselves because I care about you too. I'll see you guys on Monday. Good night. Love you. Oh, wrong one. There we are. Goodbye.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, born like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.